Welcome back to the crypto channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is finally breaking out from this symmetrical triangle pattern, but the price is now running into short-term resistance, which I'll talk about in just a moment. And on top of that, Ethereum is getting extremely close to breaking from this pattern, while Solana is still flashing a new signal in the short term. So I'll be talking about that and so much more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just giving you a quick update here on the daily Bitcoin chart, and over the last one day, nothing much has changed on this daily time frame. So of course, the bearish divergence is still playing out, but technically speaking, we have not confirmed a bearish trend reversal. And so basically, we're still technically within the bullish trend for Bitcoin because the DXY is still technically within the bearish trend. We have not yet confirmed any new higher lows or higher highs in the DXY. But even though the trend is still technically bullish for Bitcoin, obviously we're taking a bit of a short-term pause from that bullish trend due to this bearish divergence playing out. And once again, a bearish divergence usually plays out in the form of either choppy sideways price action, if not a slight pullback in the short term, as the most common outcomes. And if you want to know more about this daily time frame, then check out my last video here on the channel. So getting straight into the 12-hour Bitcoin chart, and right now we still have this ascending line of support, which is sitting at around 42.6k. So if we see a bit of a short-term pullback, then obviously I would expect support possibly about around that level if we see a pullback. And if we're taking a look at the 8-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously the price of Bitcoin is still within this ascending parallel channel, which is technically the price trending in the bullish direction, forming higher lows and higher highs. And this line of support is sitting at around 42.1k to 42.2k. And this line of resistance is sitting at approximately $46,000. And so basically just in the shorter term, the price of Bitcoin is essentially chopping around within this support and this resistance. So in the short term, we're looking relatively neutral. Once again, as a result of that bearish divergence resulting in a lot of choppy sideways price action. But believe it or not, you can make a lot of easy profits in choppy sideways price action just like this. And if you want to know how to do that, then stick around to the end of this video to find out more. But first, taking a look at the 4-hour time frame, and right now, as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is running into this area of resistance, which is sitting in between around 44.3k going up towards around 44.7k. And so at least in the short term, obviously recently we have seen multiple rejections from this exact area of resistance, just like what we saw back here or back here, for example. But what we're also seeing right now in the price of Bitcoin, just in the short term, is even though the price is running into this area of resistance, forming a lot of horizontal highs, obviously we're seeing higher lows in the price of Bitcoin, which shows an increase in buying pressure, an increase in demand. And so basically this resistance, you can picture that as a sell wall. That is where a lot of people are selling Bitcoin, keeping the price below that area. But for as long as we're seeing these higher lows, for as long as we're seeing this demand continue to increase, eventually, obviously, we're going to have to break through that area of resistance for as long as the demand keeps up. But at least for now, while the price is still below that area of resistance, obviously, it's still possible. Once again, we could end up seeing a bit of short-term rejections from that area, which means at least for now, we're still in this giant choppy sideways price range in between that area of resistance and also this area of support all the way back down here at around 40,500 to 41k acting as support. And we also have short-term support at around 41.9k and more support at around 42.6k. And if we're taking a look at the 1-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously over the last one day, we have actually seen a breakout from this symmetrical triangle pattern. But obviously the breakout as of right now is seriously lacking bullish momentum. And now, technically speaking, the breakout to the upside is now confirmed because we have seen candle closes above this resistance, and we have not yet seen a confirmed break back below this area right here. And so technically speaking, once again, this breakout is now active, which means we have an active bullish price target for this breakout, which, by the way, that price target is sitting at around 47.3k approximately. And so from the point of the breakout, which is very close to the current price, to that price target, that's roughly around a 7% move to the upside, or for example, with a 10x leverage trade, a possible 70% profit in that example. But as always, the point of invalidation would be if we see a confirmed break back below the point of the breakout, so back below around 43.8k to 43.9k. If we confirm a break back below that level in the price of Bitcoin, then that would invalidate the breakout, invalidate the pattern, and invalidate the price target. And so at least as of right now, when it comes to my personal Bitcoin trade, I have opened a very small long position with this breakout to the upside, but at the moment it's very small considering we're kind of lacking that strong bullish momentum. And once again, we're still running into that area of resistance on the 4-hour time frame, which is another reason as to why the price of Bitcoin is failing to go up pretty much straight away. But obviously, if we see a confirmed breakout above that area of resistance on the 4-hour time frame, then the price of Bitcoin could quickly return up towards this local high, sitting closer towards around 45,500, and the actual week high is sitting closer towards around 46,000. And as for the stop loss for my personal long position, I do have that stop loss sitting just below the point of invalidation. So for example, if we just crash right now, obviously that stop loss will take a small loss on the trade and exit me out of the trade, avoiding any further losses. But obviously this is not personal financial advice because I don't know your personal financial situation. I'm just being transparent with my trading strategy in regards to this breakout trade right here. And if you want to take these trades in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto asset, whether we're going up or down, you can profit in either scenario. And personally, I take these trades over on Bybit, so I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And in fact, if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account, you can get up to a $30,000 deposits bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link to make a Bitflex account and deposit $100 worth of crypto or more and to make one trade over on Bitflex, then you can get 10 USDT completely for free. And so if you're trading crypto anyway, or if you're preparing to take this next trade, you might as well get set up ready to go on one of those exchanges using those links down below this video if you want to get those extra bonuses. But anyway, while the price of Bitcoin is lacking momentum in the short term, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and we still have a lot of liquidity just above the current price. And now keep in mind, we do have some liquidity beginning to build below the price, but we still have a lot of liquidity, especially sitting at around 46.1k to 46.2k. And we also have another level of liquidations, another area of liquidity sitting at around 44.9k to 45k, and a small amount of liquidity at around 44,500. And so what this actually means for the price of Bitcoin is we usually end up seeing the price of Bitcoin getting attracted towards these areas of liquidity on this chart. And so simply based on this liquidation heat map alone, obviously this chart is suggesting that the price of Bitcoin could move to the upside towards these areas of liquidations. But obviously keep in mind, nothing is 100% guaranteed. And so even though this is suggesting that it's likely we could move towards these slightly higher prices, obviously that's not a 100% guarantee because once again, we're still running into a bit of short-term resistance. And so these are the things to keep in mind moving forward. And getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily time frame, and just like Bitcoin, over the last one day, the price of ETH has not changed all that much on the daily time frame. And so technically speaking, we still have the bearish divergence actively playing out. And so if you want to know more about this chart right here, then check out my last video here on the channel. And so getting straight into the shorter term, looking at the 4-hour ETH to US dollar chart, obviously right now the price of ETH is still playing out a bit of a short-term rejection from this level of resistance, which was previous support sitting at around 22.75. And so at least in the short term, that is an important level of resistance to pay attention to. And above that, we have this area of resistance sitting in between around 23.10 to 23.30. And above that, we also have this area of resistance sitting in between around 23.80, going all the way up towards around 24.10. And as for short-term support, we do have some support right here at around 22.10. And below that, we have this area of support sitting in between around 21.30, going up towards around 21.60. And so at least in the shorter term, the price of ETH is looking relatively neutral, basically chopping around sideways, which is what I've talked about over the last few days, because obviously right now the price is lacking momentum really to either direction. But once again, you can make a lot of easy profits in choppy sideways price action just like this. And so stick around to the end of this video to find out more about that. But first, zooming into the 1-hour ETH to US dollar chart, and of course we can see a new symmetrical triangle pattern forming right now with support sitting at around 22.30 and resistance sitting at around 22.50. And so obviously we first need to see a confirmed break either below that support or above this resistance in order to set up the technical price target for this pattern. And so taking a look at that technical price target, if we see a confirmed break below that level of support, that would set up a price target right in this area of support, which would be sitting at around 21.50. And if we're taking a look at the potential price target to the upside, if we see a confirmed breakout above that level of resistance, that would set up a price target at around 23.30 approximately. And so from the point of the breakout to that price target, we're talking around a 3 to 4% move, because obviously this is only on the 1 hour chart. We're not talking about a massive move, but still a potential move we could trade. And so personally, with this breakout right here, whether we're breaking to the downside or to the upside, personally, I'm just going to follow the same breakout trading strategy. Obviously, once we confirm a break either below support or above resistance, at that point, I'll enter into a trade, either a short position to the downside or a long position to the upsides. And at that stage, I'd have my stop loss on the other side of the point of invalidation. And of course, I'll have my technical price targets, my take profits, close to the price targets for this pattern. In fact, just before the price target, in case we don't fully hit the technical price target. And oftentimes, I do take some profits off the table. I close part of the position around important levels of resistance or support, because for example, if we're breaking out to the upside and I take some profits around this resistance, it's a possibility that we could see a rejection from that resistance. And so it's worth taking some profits off the table, in my opinion, for my strategy. Once again, not financial advice. But at least for now, once again, while the price is still within the triangle pattern, technically we're looking relatively neutral, and the next price target only confirms once we confirm a break either above this resistance or below this support. And just quickly taking a look at the price of Solana against the US dollar, on the larger time frames, nothing much has changed. So taking a look at the short term, this is on the 4-hour time frame. And right now, the price of Solana is still running into the 50% retracement level, which is acting as short-term support, sitting at approximately $92. But if we were to see a confirmed break back below $92, then in that case, we have the golden pocket in the short term acting as support, sitting in between around $83.50 to $85.50. And below that, in more of a bearish scenario, if we broke below around $83.50, then in that case, I would expect the next support sitting closer towards around $77. And obviously, just over the last 1 day or so, we have seen a lot of choppy sideways price action in the imminent short term, which is what I talked about over the last 1 day due to this small bullish divergence. And now, since my last video here on the channel, technically speaking, this bullish divergence can still play out because the price is still forming lower lows in the candle closes, while the RSI is actually forming horizontal lows, which is still a form of bullish divergence, but it's a weaker form of bullish divergence. Because the strongest form of a bullish divergence would be lower lows in the price in the candle closes and higher lows in the RSI. But while we're seeing horizontal lows in the RSI and lower lows in the price in the candle closes, once again, this is technically still a bullish divergence, but it's a weaker bullish divergence. But if the RSI breaks into a lower low, then there's no bullish divergence at all. And so due to this weak bullish divergence in the short term, once again, it's possible we could see a bit of choppy sideways price action, but I would not be expecting a lot of bullish price action out of this weak bullish divergence. And so basically, this is just most likely going to result in a slowdown from all of that pullback, all of that bearish price action that we've seen over the last 1 to 2 weeks. Once again, this weak bullish divergence is most likely going to slow down that bearish price action just in the short term here. But ultimately, the price is still within a pullback in the short term on the 4-hour time frame, but obviously on much larger time frames, we're still within a much larger bullish trend, which I talked about in my last video. But if you want to know how you can profit from crypto, no matter if we're bullish, bearish, or just chopping around sideways, you can make money in either of those scenarios by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can long or short crypto to make money if we're bullish or bearish, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.